This podcast contains strong language and discussions about relationships and sex. It may not be suitable for younger listeners. This is the Sex and Singapore City podcast, and I'm Nixalina Watson. Hi guys, it's Nixalina, and I'm back at Splice Studios for another awesome episode. And I'm so excited because today I have another guest on my show. And I am here with Heather of Sweet Life Asia discussing how to live your best life. Hi, Heather.
Hi, how are you?
Very well. Thank you for coming on my show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I believe that this is your first ever podcast.
Yeah, listen to many, but this is the first time I've been on one myself.
I'm popping your cherry. I'm hanging.
Oh, my.
That's the tone.
I know.
So for those who have yet to discover, do a little introduction on what is Sweet Life Asia?
So Sweet Life Asia is a website where we sell sugar-free and low-carb products to help people sustain a keto, sugar-free, or diabetic lifestyle. But it's really more than that because I want to bring all the recipes, products, and motivation. Success means a lot of things for different people. Some people, it's your skinny jeans. Other people, it's holding a grandbaby. And so I think too often we think it's not possible, but I would challenge you to go out to my website. I lost 55 kg over, really 10 years, but I've struggled with obesity and I found the keto diet and it really changed my life and it changed the lives of my children and probably their children because my family, we have a history of diabetes and obesity. And I lost my mom. I mean, I guess this is really why I kind of started this is because I lost my mom. She got diabetes in her 40s and she died when she was 62. She had a stroke. Her life just got smaller while her body got bigger and her choices were so limited. And when I hear people say life is short, eat the cake, I know what they're saying because so often we get these messages from the media that women should be a certain way. But on the other hand, being obese is an eating disorder that will shorten your life and limit the lives of your children. So I try to keep both thoughts in my head. I mean, women shouldn't be told what to do, how to look, or how to be. But at the same time, if eating certain things means you're medicated on blood pressure and insulin and whatever, and you're going to die 20 years early, that's not right either. So I didn't want the childhood I had for my children because my mom struggled with morbid obesity. And I wanted to be a healthy woman who could do whatever I wanted and not have to think about food or what other people thought of me or have that burden of being an overweight person. It was something I was, but it wasn't my choice because of how I grew up with my mom. I just sort of dealt with it. But the older I got, I realized that I wanted a different life for myself. And so starting this company, I know that yearning. I know people, you don't want to be overweight. You want to reach your health goals. You just sort of get used to it. But you don't have to. You don't have to accept that. You can do whatever you want in this life for as long as you're on this earth, hopefully as long as you can be, and not be limited because of the food you're eating. There's healthy food out there, and I want to make that easy for people to make it more accessible to people and make this lifestyle real. People have told me, you can't do keto long term. Well, I've done it 5 years. I've lost half my body weight. This is my life now. I don't think I've had bread in 5 years, and people say, do you miss it? And I'm like, no, because I can run for 30 minutes. My children, the other day, they were like, this is so funny. They come to me and they're like, you're not fat anymore, Mom. I'm like, oh, really? So what am I? And they're like, oh, you're just normal. Okay. That's just, it's really nice, I think, to just be normal and not...
You got to love children's compliments, haven't you? There's no filter.
Yeah, there's no filter.
I happen to think you're a fit mum.
Thank you.
FYI. So out of interest then, because you're talking about your past and then basically how you got to this point, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that would have been how you were. And did you have any conversations with people when you were bigger where you refused to accept there's a change that's needed? Was there any barriers? If this is the case, how comes this didn't happen for you 5-10 years ago?
I definitely always wanted to change my life, but I think Now that I look back at my habits now, it's really night and day. But you just have to unpack so many habits that you didn't get to 100 pounds or 50 kg extra out of nothing. I mean, there were things you did. And so you've got to sort of unravel that. Like now I eat basically vegetables and lean meat, and that's sort of how I do. But you have to give up and add so many things to get there.
So can I ask then, obviously you're saying you embarked on a keto diet, a keto lifestyle, which then after you've then curated all of these foods and these products, which you've then built Sweet Life Asia on based on your personal experience with these foods.
Well, that's right. So the products that we have are stuff we actually use in my kitchen that we've tried, we've tested, that we believe in. There's a lot of stuff out there that puts keto on the label, but if you read the nutrition, the portion size is really small, or it's full of a lot of fillers and fiber, and like you're not going to feel good after eating it. So I don't want to put that kind of stuff in the store, but I do want to put things that'll help people stay on plan. Like, because there was a time when I was literally in tears because I wanted sugar-free ketchup and I couldn't find it and I didn't want to make it. You know, I was like in this place. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to quit this diet and and I remember saying to myself, and then what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You've tried Weight Watchers, you've tried this, you've tried that, you've done everything. Like, you have to make this work. So that was sort of my reaching point of saying, okay, I know how to import export. I can do this. Let's start a company. I selfishly did it for me, but also to help other people in the place that I was.
To provide, the products that you personally were looking for, that you use, and you know that will help other people if they're trying to go down the same journey as you. Or people like me that just wants to eat a little less sugar.
Yeah, that's right, because so much out there is full sugar, because it's cheap, right? It's cheap, it's easy.
And delicious.
Right.
And I eat so much shit, chocolate particularly, and chips and cake and alcohol and bread and pasta and milky coffees, and I could go on. And I'm always aware, and I know there's a lot of sugar in it, and I know there's a lot of sugar in it, but I just can't help myself. So if I had a ketchup that was just as tasty but sugar-free, then, and I don't have to worry about that.
That's right.
Hands down, a choice for me to make. An easy choice, right?
That's right. And I also think it's important because there are people who were born with diabetes that they don't have a choice. Like, they need these products. So I'm happy to provide those to people who it's about their health. I mean, it really is. You shouldn't. When you put insulin in your body, it has a negative consequences. And so to do that with nutritional therapy is really preferred if you can eat less sugar and manage it naturally.
So for those listening who don't know the correlation between sugar and diabetes, are you able to explain?
Right. So let me just say, I'm not a doctor. I'm just a woman that's...
Just a woman!
that's
just
read...
a girlboss!
That's right. That's right. So I've read a lot about this, trying to understand my own challenges. But what I understand is that when you eat sugar, your body has to release insulin, which is a hormone that helps your body turn that into energy. But it also is what signals the body to store fat. So it's a very interesting combination there. So over time, when you have your body is constantly releasing insulin and constantly storing fat, you get this thing called insulin resistance, which means that no matter how much insulin you shoot out, you're not metabolizing the sugar. And then you get diabetes. So it doesn't happen in a year or even maybe a decade. It usually takes 10 or 20 years for someone who's eaten a high carb diet. I mean, that's what happened to my mom. She got diabetes in her 40s. But you see children now, they're seeing children get type 2 diabetes and teenagers. Like, really junky, unhealthy habits can lead to these lifestyle diseases, which people call a disease of modernity. If you avoided sugar and flour in combination and just eat what they call food blessed by the sun, then you could probably avoid a lot of cancer, diabetes, heart disease. I really advocate people should be eating whole food, meat and vegetables, and don't eat out of bags and boxes. I mean, I know we have things in bags and boxes, but the sauce, I think of our company as providing you the sauces, like it's the condiments, it's the icing on the cake to get you to keep that meal healthy, and then plan treats in moderation.
Because it's also the little things that you don't think about, like the chocolate, like the sauces, like you won't realize when you put that ketchup or the mayo or whatever on your plate, the amount of sugars in it, right?
Yeah, there's lots of sugars in even salad dressing and mayonnaise here has sugar in it. So like if you are trying to avoid sugar, it's hidden in a lot of things. Again, because it's cheap, because manufacturers can make food cheaper and tastier by adding sugar. But it's also, let me also say, we were talking about diabetes, but I wanted to make a comment on fatty liver disease, because fatty liver disease is something that used to only happen in alcoholics, but now it's happening in children. And it's because the body has to metabolize sugar in the liver. So it has to split sucrose is fructose and glucose, and it has to split that. That happens in the liver. That's why high fructose corn syrup is so nasty, because you can eat bread and your body can metabolize that like really easy. But sugar, whether it's juice or table sugar or corn syrup, goes through the liver. And a lot of that, we talk about diabetes, but on the other hand is fatty liver disease, and they kind of go together. When you eat a lot of carbs and they're processed and they're this chemical configuration, that can lead to fatty liver disease and diabetes. So isn't that fun?
And for those listening like me, when you say processed carbs, give me some examples of what these people is this chips?
Well, yes. I think it's everything that's. So let me back up and say that in nutrition, you've got 3 groups of macronutrients. So you have protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Well, we know what protein is. It's meat.
Yeah.
We know what fat is. Like carbs are everything else.
Right.
And so not all carbs are bad. I'm not saying that, but they should be eaten in the natural form with the fiber intact. Bread is a processed food. Granola. I mean, these are processed foods that were made in a factory. Like, that's what I say. If was this made in a factory, then it is a processed food to come in a box.
Gotcha.
These are processed foods that are cheap and easy, but again, if we all ate whole fruits and vegetables and meat, I think we would be living our healthy best lives and not on medication and not struggling with these issues of obesity. And let's not stop to say that there's emotional trauma to being overweight. It is not a fun thing to experience, especially as a woman. And that is also something that I struggled with. And I wanted to make sure that people had choices and would be able to, living your best life is also avoiding that kind of emotional trauma of like self-hatred and loathing from like not being able to maintain a healthy body weight. And I would just back up and say, like, I have a lot of compassion for people who struggle, because it's very hard and we're constantly getting pushed to eat this food and have the cake and like treat yourself, and food is such a social lubricant and it's everywhere. And it's really difficult to eat food in moderation when it's always in front of you in the kind of society we live in, and easy and cheap and portable. So
I do like the idea of like living your best but your healthiest life, because you've got this culture now, especially with social media, where everyone's like living my best life, and it's focusing on external factors, like holidays, vacations, the cars, the Rolexes, but you're all missing. Without your health, you've got nothing.
That's right.
And it really is an integral part. You can't live your best life unless you are healthy and happy. And that's the 2 basic foundations to start with.
That's right. And I think I'd also like to comment too on eating a lot of sugar creates anxiety. There's this medical condition where you have low blood sugar, high insulin, and people have this are like usually on anxiety meds when you could just eat better. I know I had that, and now when something bad happens, I don't have a panic attack. I don't go into an anxiety mode. It just sort of washes off me, where before I would get so keyed up that I would really need to eat to calm down. And it's this like cycle that almost an addict gets in, where why do you need to calm down and numb out? Can you not just feel your feelings? But I think that even as children, food is comfort, food is mother, so we get wrapped up in using food also is something more than just fuel. It's everything.
Well,
and I get that.
It's pleasure, it's leisure, and it's a stress reliever.
Absolutely.
The reason why they're called comfort foods, because you go to them to make you feel better. And usually these kind of foods, you don't go to your apple for comfort. It's bad stuff, right?
Right. And, there's a lot of messages we get.
My producer's laughing at me. I don't know why. I made a very good point, Ken. Right? You don't think I'm going to spend a Friday night in front of the sofa, Netflix and chill with a Granny Smith apple, do you?
No.
Although that's high in sugar, right?
But it's natural with the carbs intact. So you're going to metabolize that with the fiber, and you're going to have a feeling of fullness. So it'll be better than eating.
Chocolate.
Yeah, of course.
Junk food. Oh, and that's another thing I thought I'd pick your brains on, actually, for people listening who I believe are like me. Well, obviously, we've covered diabetes, but you talk a lot about a keto diet. So what is keto?
Right. So a ketogenic diet is a diet where instead of burning that glucose that we talked about, which can be really detrimental, you would burn fat, your own fat, or the fat you eat from food that you're putting in your body. So while the human body is really sophisticated, it really only has two kinds of metabolisms, a glucose or a fat. And when you burn only fat and you restrict the carbs you eat, then your body doesn't get that insulin. It doesn't get the signal to store the fat. It burns the fat you have. So if weight loss is your goal, I would really encourage anyone to give keto a good try, because it's this key that unlocks your body from saying, burn fat now. I mean, I think that's what a lot of us want in our health goals. So that is by definition what keto is, just the restriction of carbs, usually between 20 and 50 a day. I try to eat 7 a meal and less than 20 a day, which is very strict.
What
20 grams of carbs a day, which is basically half a slice of bread.
What? Okay. I'll hold the front door a sec.
So what my typical diet is, I usually skip breakfast. I'm not really in the mood for breakfast. And I eat an early lunch of chicken and a serving of vegetables. And then I don't like snacking anymore because I'm trying to get to that last 5 kg. So I wait till dinner and I have kind of more of the same meat and vegetables and then maybe a glass of wine. And that's kind of how I organize my diet. Some people, keto's gotten a reputation of being eat all the bacon you want, eat butter. And that is also, you can have, that can be ketogenic, but usually a keto diet is combined with calorie restriction to really maximize the health benefits. Now, there are people that do keto because they're trying to kill cancer. If you have cancer, a very low sugar diet can stop the growth of cancer cells.
Really?
It can, yeah. It's really fascinating. It can slow it down because eating too much sugar can speed it up. So if you want to slow down cancer, they do recommend a keto diet. The same with Alzheimer's, and also epileptics are also.
Really?
They're researching a ketogenic diet to support people with those health conditions. So it's really, keto can have a lot of applications. But I would say that everyone has their idea of what it is. It's not a list. This is one thing I'll say. It's not like you're Jewish and you're keeping kosher and there's a list of food you're allowed to have and not allowed to have. There's this joke in the bodybuilding community called if it fits your macros. So do you have the calories for it? Will it fit under your 20 grams? Then that is keto. Whatever it is, it is. If that keeps you in nutritional ketosis, then it is keto. Now, there's layers of that because a lot of people that do keto are also interested in anti-inflammatory food. So if you eat food that has high inflammation markers, that can cause depression, and it can be very bad if you have arthritis, because arthritis is basically an inflammation of the joint. So if you're trying to reduce that inflammation, you want to eat certain kinds of food. So foods that are high in industrial seed oil, like canola oil, soybean, and things like that, have very high inflammation markers. So some keto people avoid commercial mayo. They make their own salad dressing. And there is, and I'll be honest, there's a huge fight in the diet community over is this keto, is that keto, and people get very religious about it. I think my joke is smoking. Smoking isn't healthy, and it's not going to help me achieve my health goals, but it doesn't mean it isn't keto or not keto. It's just a unhealthy choice. Yeah. So, but those tend to go together. People are usually very concerned about what kind of oils they eat and the sugar together. But
right.
I think that you just have to decide where you are, and you can't start a diet trying to make 100 choices. Like, I think the sugar, like if you were going to make one choice, it would be give up sugar in your drinks. Like, give up sugar in your, like, quit drinking sugar.
You're killing me. Do you know how much sugar's in Prosecco? And do you know how much?
It's actually very low. That's one of my favorite drinks. Yes.
I mean, I now love you officially 1 billion times. I thought Prosecco was damn high in sugar.
It's actually a very dry wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I'll cut out sugar in my coffee.
But have Prosecco at night. That's right.
That for me is moderation that I can live with. And so obviously I'm bad personally with my sugar. So having this conversation with you is a real eye-opener, 110%. And I dread to think how much sugar goes into my body. That I have a sweet tooth, hands up. I could even wake up and have chocolate and coffee. I can go to bed and have coffee, tea and chocolate before bed. I eat sweets. So when I was looking at Sweet Life Asia, it was so nice for me to see such an array of products that you have that incorporates. I thought it might just be like, here's some brownies or whatever, or here's some cookies. I didn't realize you were going to have baking products. It's just a huge, extensive list.
Yeah, we've got snack food. We've got dried meats, chicharrones, we have candy bars, and also party nuts. Because I know snacking is important. I mean, you want to have your fix. Mm-hmm. We also have condiments and salad dressings and different sauces. Because really, to keep to your plan, you want to have the sauces with the protein. I mean, if you're giving up your carbs, you're going to have more veggies, and you need to jazz that up. You need to,
Because it's not about suffering, right? I mean, for you, keto's not a diet. It's a lifestyle choice. And to sustain it, you don't want to be feeling like you're wanting.
No.
So it's more, okay, so I'm checking out of these pieces, but I'm going to have this sauce. I mean, like right in front of me, I have sugar-free barbecue sauce.
That's right.
Maple brown flavored, smokehouse. It's award-winning, apparently. And it's actually a huge, huge pot as well. And my producer has given it to me on affirmative. It's actually a delicious, delicious sauce. He loves it. So, I mean, this is something that I would never, ever have bought myself. But I'm so excited to try it. And obviously, like, I feel like for the pricing point as well, it's a really good value for money.
And that's something in terms of the value we have as a company. I don't want to charge you $50 for this barbecue sauce. I want it to be something that people can incorporate in their everyday life. So I want to cover my costs. We want to grow the business, but I don't want to take advantage of people who are sometimes in a situation where they need these products. They're diabetic. So I try to keep a fair price point. And hopefully as the business grows, we might be able to lower prices because we'll have a better supply chain, right? But I do see some of the products out on the market, and they're really expensive, and it's unfortunate because if you do have a chronic health condition or you just are price sensitive and you don't want to pay $20 for a bottle of ketchup, we try to make it a fairly priced item.
Yeah, because of course as well, if you got like that level of price for like a ketchup, people will always find reasons or ways. You know, I'm not talking to people that need a sugar-free diet, but those who wishing, you go, oh, I can't afford that. Because then it's easier to be back in your comfort zone.
That's right.
Whereas if you're like, actually, that's a really reasonable price, it's sugar-free, I'll give it a go. And chances are it tastes, I mean, I haven't tried this one yet, but Ken says it's amazing. So I'm here for it.
And I guess I'll say that we have taste tested stuff. And I have my best friend from high school lives in Atlanta. I sent her a bunch of stuff that we wanted to carry, and half didn't make the cut because she said it was terrible, it didn't taste good.
Right.
So we're really careful to curate products that we feel are high quality, that are going to support people, not just because it says keto or just because it's inexpensive for us to buy and procure. I think our brand means too much, and like our reputation, and I do want to help people because I'll tell you the story. So years ago in America, I decided to go low carb, and that was during the whole Dr. Atkins craze. And Dr. Atkins, he really popularized the ketogenic diet. And if you read his book, he's got some real honest feedback, and like the science is spot on. But then his family took that brand and they started to sell all these health food products, like bars and shakes and ice cream. And I remember every day on my lunch break, I would go to the supermarket, I would buy myself a pint of Dr. Atkins ice cream, eat the whole thing, because, I'm in ketosis and I'm not reaching my health goals. I'm really fatigued. I don't feel good. And, I gave up. And why did I do that? And I think it's because, well, it's very complicated, but that product eaten in that quantity and portion was not going to help me reach my health goals, So I want to put products on the marketplace that are quality products and aren't going to lead people to get sick and quit. That's not what we want. We want people to get healthy and reach whatever goal they're out trying to achieve.
Well, you've also, what I love is you're encouraging people to do some home cooking and baking, because you have this chia bread. One packet bakes 500 grams and it's just add water.
That's right.
I have never baked bread in my life.
You just add water, you put it in the...
How can I screw that up?
You can't.
Well, actually, Heather, I probably could. But that's what it says. You just add water, you bake it, done. And then we've got this cake in a cup, dark chocolate, just add water. And you've got this gorgeous dark chocolate. It looks like a lava cake in a cup, right?
Exactly. That's how it tastes. It's quite good.
Stop. This is amazing. This would be like my Friday night treat. And my apple. Oh, God. What I also love is that it says gluten-free.
And a lot of our products are gluten-free because they're using alternative flours like almond flour and coconut. And we partner with this European company called Sucren that's out of Denmark. And a lot of their products are formulated by these European bakers, and they're just amazing. I mean, all their recipes are, I've tried it once and they always turn out. So I really trust them with my whole heart. But what's also good is if any of your listeners are trying to be gluten-free or they have children with celiac disease, our products will also support them in being healthy. And gluten can be a poison to some people who have celiac disease, and it's really traumatic to the families who go through that.
You've also got a lot of products that are vegan friendly as well, right? I mean, these products are ticking all the boxes. Your chia bread is vegan, right?
Oh, yeah, because you just had water, yeah. So,
I mean, I know a lot of people will struggle. If you go on the website and you're starting like, actually, there's a lot of stuff here that I can introduce to my diet that I don't feel that I'm missing out. And I also have to say she's got some amazing homemade crispy pork from the Pig Boss.
Yeah, the Pig Boss. So one of the other things that we're doing is launching a marketplace for home bakers and small companies that are putting out really quality products, but maybe they're specializing in just one kind of thing. Like the Pig Boss, he does these Filipino chicharrones, and then Angie Bakes does cookies and baked goods, and Shorty's Food does nuts for us. And so we have these companies that are home bakers who may not be able to advertise, but we're going to put them on the marketplace and then run a van that kind of picks up and delivers to people who want sugar-free home cooking.
That is amazing. I actually love it. And I'm so excited about trying all of it. Well, I've tried the homemade brownie already, and it is delicious. It's also very light, which I love. Like a lot of brownies I eat, I get sort of half through it and I'm like, oh my God, it's like, whereas this, I feel like it's super light, doesn't make me feel guilty eating it either. So I'm going to ask you a really difficult question, Heather. What are your personal top 5 products from the website?
Those brownies are really quite good, and they turn out. The chili sauce, I eat that every day, actually, on my chicken. We also have a pancake and maple syrup combination. Oh, it's been selling out, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I need to order more for you guys. And the barbecue sauce, I think that's the second thing we brought in. And it really does help you. Like if you had a hard day and you put the chicken in the air fryer and you just want to put something on it, like it's perfect.
I'm so excited about trying it. Oh, and also our readers can try it because we have a 20% off promo code. So for everyone who's tuned in and wants to try some Sweet Life Asia products, trust me, they are delicious. I've already chomped through the brownie, the dried meats, the Pig Boss crispy pork. In fact, I could probably eat the whole packet in one go, if I'm totally honest. If this sounds like something that you want to give a go, or you've been looking for these products and had no idea where to find them, you can buy anything you wish of Sweet Life Asia with a 20% off promo code, and it is Sexy Sweet. So that's SEXYSWEET, Sexy Sweet. You pop that in upon checkout, Heather?
Yes, or if you can link to it, then the URL will take you straight to the site, and then it'll apply the promo code to your cart.
I will do indeed. I'm going to put the link in the description of this episode, and then it automatically applies. But if not, you can add it in at checkout, and you can get 20% off.
Yeah, either way.
And what's your social media handles, Heather, for anyone who wants to tag you in their produce?
Yes, we are Sweet Life Asia, both on Instagram and Facebook.
Wonderful. So if you guys go and buy some products, you can tag us both and show us. And if you're cooking from home, I'm going to give the cake in a cup a go.
And I should say that I also believe in home cooking, and I've been putting up some recipes. I hope to have a little pamphlet that I'm going to put out with meal plans for people to be able to, like, what is keto and what would I eat? And if you go to my website, I have 7 Western meals, I have 7 Asian, I have 7 vegetables, and some different sauces that you can use to eat real food that you cook yourself. Because I do also feel like that's the way that you are going to achieve your health goals, is by getting in the kitchen, getting comfortable cooking, eating real food. Not out of a bag or a box, but like...
I've actually checked out the recipes, and I love the fact that it's all information's all there available. You know, there's no click to sign up or pay anything. You've given everyone the recipes. They're on the website. They're easy to follow. All the products are there that you need, the ingredients. And yeah, you've given a really good mix between West and East dishes, and it looks delicious. So I was already checking it out, and it's like, oh, okay, actually, I didn't realize I could make that, and that would be like sugar-free and keto, you know? And it's inspiring for someone who definitely eats too much sugar to have you on board and to be able to see the kind of stuff that you're saying, hey, you can switch to this, or you can make this.
Yeah, thank you for that. And one of the things I also want to say is, if you go out to sweetlife.asia, we also have a section called weight loss, and I keep a blog, and I kind of unpack my thoughts on, I call it my recovery from obesity, because I want people to know that no matter how old you are, no matter where you are, like, you can recover from being obese. It is possible. I'm 46, and I weigh less than I did when I was 12 years old. I can run for 30 minutes without stopping. I don't need blood pressure medication, even though my doctor was telling me for years, you should think about it, but I don't. I am perfectly healthy now, and it's possible no matter how old you are, where you are in your health journey. So I did myself feel points in my life that it just wasn't going to happen for me. But I was determined, especially when I became a mom, that I'm kind of stubborn. Sometimes people would say, like, well, maybe this is the weight you're supposed to be. But that's obese. So maybe I'm not supposed to be this weight. Like it is possible. I just have to figure this out. And so you can figure this out. And I've been there, and we're here to help you, and we're going to bring in products that will help people. I mean, I've been hanging out on message boards, and I really hear that people want sugar-free oyster sauce, so we found that. We're going to bring it in.
Nice.
It's not something that I cook with every day, but I get it. I get that there are these sauces, like mine, that was the ketchup. Yours is the oyster sauce. We're going to bring those so people can make this meal plan work for them.
Amazing. And I must say, guys, Heather has put a before and after photo on her Instagram. I'm looking at it now. So go head over to @SweetLifeAsia, and you will see the transformation is insane. Wow. It's like a different person. It genuinely is. Is it weird to look back on that for you?
It really is weird, because I was that person for such a long time. And I mean, that's who you are. It's not who you want to be, but yeah, I feel like a different person, like it was like another life.
And you're living your best life now.
That's right. That's right. And that's what it's about, because I think there gets to be a point where, like, the vanity only takes you so far. If you want to lose weight because you want to get in your skinny jeans, or you want to be attractive to your partner, like, that's some kind of motivation. But really, I hope that your why should be deep and meaningful, because that's what's going to get you through those hard days. So if people are trying to reach out on a health journey, like, why are you going to say no to that thing that tempts you? But on the other hand, what would you do to hold your grandchildren? What would you do to have 10 more years on this life, or to be able to do that thing you never thought you could do, like run a marathon or be a lifeguard, or like, what are these things? Because the human body is so adaptable, and you can do so many things if you just practice and put your head down and do the hard work, because that's what it is. You just have to put your head down and do the hard work. You put in the hard work and then good things happen. It's tough. I'm not saying it's not, because I've had to put in a lot of hard work to get where I am, and I had to do things that I never thought I would do before, like exercise.
100%. Heather, you are an absolute inspiration.
Well, thank you.
I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. I hope everyone has learned as much as I have, because it's just been so informative and insightful for me to listen to you. And I can't wait to try more products. The things I've already tasted are delicious. So I completely, fully recommend Sweet Life Asia. And I am now going to take away a lot of the stuff you said and try and incorporate more sugar-free, more keto lifestyle choices with my food. Not because I am on a serious weight loss journey, of course, it's just because I want to live my best life, which is, of course, happiness and good health. And I don't want to end up with diabetes down the line because I'm just shoveling sugar and junk food into my mouth the whole time. But now I know Prosecco's low in sugar.
It is, yes.
Thank you so much, Heather. And,
thank you.
Yes, everyone go and check out Sweet Life Asia. Thanks for listening to the Sex and Singapore City podcast. This episode was produced and hosted by me, Nixalina Watson, and recorded at the Splicecast studio in Singapore. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and all major podcast listening apps. Do subscribe for a new episode every single week. Please do give us a 5-star review. It helps other people find our podcast. We're also on social media with Facebook and the Gram. Don't be shy, send me a message and come say hello. For more information and to read more articles, please do come over and say hey at sexandsingaporecity.com. That's sexandand singaporecity.com.